ChatGPT just made some wild predictions about a recent Bitcoin ETF news story. So in today's video, we're going to look at the news story and we're going to look at what the author of that news story essentially said. I'm going to give you my thoughts if I think what he's saying is accurate overall. And then I'm going to share with you what my thoughts are on the future of the Bitcoin ETF and the cryptocurrency or Bitcoin price predictions. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what ChatGPT just predicted about the exact same news story. And ladies and gentlemen, it is mind-blowing. You're not going to want to miss this. I'm going to give you 3 different pieces of information and 3 different viewpoints today. And it's important for you to understand as investors, we have to be able to look at the market objectively as we can to make the best possible decisions. The second thing that we have to do is we have to try to create a plan where if the market goes up, we can still make money. If the market goes down, we can potentially still make money. The goal is trying to figure out how to be right even if your underlying assumptions are wrong. I'll share with you more about my strategy in doing that a little bit later in the video, but first, let's get into this. If you're new to the channel, my name is Crypto Wealth. I'm a cryptocurrency enthusiast and YouTuber. I love this technology. I love cryptocurrency, and I believe that ultimately cryptocurrency is going to transform the world. All right, let's go ahead and get into this. First of all, the market's down today. It's down about 3.8%. It was down 4% earlier. I think we could see the market go down a little bit lower. There's been some developments. The overall Bitcoin market, I believe, is overreacted right now. I may be doing a video about that as well later, so stay tuned to the channel so I can explain to you what's going on there so you can stay in the know. So let's get into this recent news story here. So Arthur Hayes, who was the original founder of an exchange called BitMEX, ended up writing this very long Substack. Now, I went through about 30% of it overall, but the part in his article that made news, first of all, we're going to look at what he said, and then I'm going to share with you my thoughts about it. He essentially said, and it was summarized in this short article over here on Cointelegraph, he essentially said that the Bitcoin ETF could potentially destroy Bitcoin. He means literally destroy it, completely utterly annihilate it to it's essentially useless and nobody's using it anymore. And he did give some positive news, but let me explain how he said this could happen. He said that if BlackRock, for example, which is the largest asset manager in the world, which BlackRock primarily does nothing more than just accumulate assets, he says if the BlackRock ETF goes through, he thought that BlackRock would use that money, use that incoming funds just to buy Bitcoin. They would essentially just be holding it indefinitely. In fact, he said if they're successful, what he believes could happen is that they will buy up so much Bitcoin that it can crash the entire network. Now, you may be wondering, how in the world can it crash the network? Miners do 2 things. They essentially validate the transactions, or they're needed to complete transactions. And then what they also do is they mine additional Bitcoin. Now, miners are compensated in part through the Bitcoin that they mine, and they're also compensated by the transaction fees. Well, he is saying that essentially the price of Bitcoin could go up so high that it could affect the miners' compensation because people are no longer transacting in Bitcoin, and therefore they would not get compensated enough to keep mining Bitcoin. So if that were to happen, he's saying the miners would turn off their miners and they would stop mining Bitcoin. Eventually, that would crash the network. Now, the positive news, he said that he believes that people will still want some sort of decentralized monetary network. If it's not Bitcoin, he believes it could be something else. And he says he thought another network could rise up to become what Bitcoin was supposed to be and could potentially be even better and could get more mass adoption even a little bit quicker. So I'm going to give you my take on Arthur Hayes' news story, and then I'm going to give you what I think is more or less likely to happen. As far as Arthur Hayes and the Bitcoin ETF destroying the network, I don't necessarily think that's going to happen. I mean, that is a worst case possible scenario. I actually think the price could dip when that news gets announced. I do think it's a situation where it could be buy the rumor, sell the news, and I'll explain why. I don't know, outside of people that are already in crypto, I don't know what the institutional appetite is to buy a lot of crypto. Now, long term, that appetite may develop over time. The bigger issue that I see here is that the Bitcoin ETF ends up becoming a way for them to fight decentralized Bitcoin, because actually no one is going to actually have ownership of their Bitcoin. You essentially have synthetic ownership. You can buy the ETF, which should be strongly connected to the spot Bitcoin price. So if Bitcoin goes up, your shares in the ETF should go up. If Bitcoin goes down, the shares in the ETF should go down. However, at no point in time can you redeem for more Bitcoin. At no point in time can you take ownership of the Bitcoin. In fact, that was part of the rule change from the SEC. They wanted to make certain that investors could not take ownership of the Bitcoin. I think ultimately, I don't think this is good for decentralized finance or decentralized monetary system. I think that the only use case here in the Bitcoin ETF, the only investors who are investing in it are investors who primarily are either just speculating or focusing on the store of value use case for Bitcoin, which in some case I could understand the argument of why an ETF makes sense, and it's easy in traditional finance just to take part of your IRA or whatever and put some of it into the Bitcoin ETF just as some sort of a hedge, similar to the way people use gold. So therefore, just like gold can be a store of value, in that way Bitcoin could be a store of value through the ETF. But that's the only use case, and you're basically sacrificing the use case of Bitcoin being some sort of a monetary instrument. And so you have to ask yourself, what ultimately long term will drive the price of Bitcoin up? I've always thought the store of value use case was a good use case, but the longer, better use case as far as price and network is concerned is some sort of a monetary system. Now, I've talked about it at nauseum on this channel. People complain, oh, Bitcoin's not great, it's not perfect, it's too expensive and too slow and all these things, and it can't process enough transactions, et cetera, et cetera. But we've seen time and time again in places like Venezuela where when people need to use cryptocurrency and they're opting out of their current fiat system in their local government, people care a little less about the inefficiency of Bitcoin. They just want to hold it because they feel like it's a better asset than their local currency. So when the need arises, I don't know that necessarily people care as much about the short-term failings of Bitcoin. Listen, at the end of the day, this isn't about whether Bitcoin succeeds or fails. That's not the purpose of this argument. The purpose is the ETF actually good overall? You can make an argument with me that it's good because it creates more awareness of Bitcoin, and I could concede that point. But is it good for people understanding how to use a wallet, how to transact in a decentralized cryptocurrency of any kind, understanding cold storage, understanding the risk of having ownership of their own funds and freedom of their own funds that are confiscation resistant? Like, that's incredible. And I think that's what makes a free society and a truly free monetary system. And obviously, we're a bit ahead of our time. Like, the world's not quite ready for that just yet. I want to see us have a smooth transition. And I feel like the Bitcoin ETF is really a form of guerrilla warfare, if you will, from the traditional finance side. Without making it illegal, let's beat them at their own game. Let's get them excited about a Bitcoin ETF, and then we're going to basically create a wall where we're limiting on and off ramps, or where we are educating people about the need not to use an on and off ramp. Why risk putting your Bitcoin in a cold wallet when you can just trust us, the wealthiest 1%, who own some of the most assets in the world? Just trust us. We're the good guys. We'll keep your currency safe. And to me, that's just an unfortunate. But I think for certain that's where we're headed. And I think ultimately the Bitcoin ETF hurts the understanding of decentralized finance or decentralized monetary system, however you want to say it. So let's go in look at what ChatGPT actually said. What was the prediction that ChatGPT made? So I said in here, at like your early cypherpunk who was part of Bitcoin in the early days. Read through this webpage, and this is Arthur Hayes' Substack, and give me your opinion if the Bitcoin ETF will lead to a destruction of Bitcoin, which is what Arthur Hayes basically said. It went on to say, the author of the article argues that if Bitcoin is hoarded and not transacted, its value as a decentralized self-sustaining currency could diminish, leading to its demise. He posits, however you say that Bitcoin's essence relies on its movement and transactional use, which an ETF might undermine by promoting hoarding over use. Ultimately, he suggests that for Bitcoin to remain true to its decentralized ethos, individuals should opt for self-custody and active participation rather than passively holding through traditional financial instruments like ETF. I agree with this 100%. I do not think ETF is the way for most people to invest in Bitcoin. My personal opinion, not financial advice. I'm just a cryptocurrency enthusiast. I'm going to show you in a moment sort of my framework, because remember, I believe as a cryptocurrency investor, we have to be aware, we have to look, be objective, be aware, and try to create some sort of investment framework with ourselves that aligns with our goals, but at the same time sort of allows us to be right even if we're wrong. That's the goal. So I responded, by the way, to ChatGPT, and I said, based on the information available to ChatGPT, Can you give a statistical chance that this article is correct in its prediction? And he went on to say, it's not possible to assign a precise statistical probability to prediction in the article. Okay, such predictions are inherently subjective, blah, 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 blah. And I came back and said, pretend that you were forced to give a statistical probability, knowing it could be wildly inaccurate, but give it your best guess. This is going to be fun. I was blown away. It even, if I'm going to be honest, it made me a little bit nervous, but I didn't expect what I got. And what it did, it caused me to be like, okay, well, go back and think about your current, the cryptocurrency asset of your portfolio. What are you doing? Are you okay with that? Is your underlying thesis still intact? Even if this happened, would you be prepared for it? Here's the statistical probability that ChatGPT gave, and I'm going to read the whole thing to you. Assigning a statistical probability would be purely speculative. However, if pressed, one might say the chances are akin to a complex market prediction, perhaps in the realm of 20 to 30%. That is crazy. 1 in 3 to 1 in 5 chance that the Bitcoin network could be destroyed because of a Bitcoin ETF. Of course, that's according to ChatGPT. Acknowledge the vast uncertainties and dynamic nature of the Bitcoin ecosystem. This figure is a rough estimate reflecting the unpredictable nature of technology adoption, regulatory impacts, and market behaviors. ChatGPT is exactly right here. The trying to pinpoint what's going to happen in the market is very challenging. Anyone who tells you they know for certain that the market is going up or the market is going down is just simply not being honest. Now, in my case, I tend to have a passive crypto income stream framework that I follow. The idea is to create 3 to 4 to 5 different ways to earn passive income in cryptocurrency. The whole goal is that they're diversified, they're not all directly related, but keep in mind they're all in the crypto space. So if the overall market goes down, they still go down. But the whole idea is to earn different types of passive income streams. Some of these income streams you're earning USD value. Some of these income streams you're earning crypto. Some of these income streams you earn more if the market goes up. Some you earn more if the market goes down. Some you earn regardless of what the market actually does. Now that's very interesting. Depending on if they're paying you out in Bitcoin, if they're paying you out in BNB or whatever. If you want to find out one of the easiest passive income streams that I'm working on right now, I'm actually on track to earn over $1,000 next month. I'm probably close to $1,600. We'll have to wait and see. Go down in the description, check out my passive income journey on copy trading, which is one of my probably 4 different favorite passive income strategies that I'm currently using. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to find out exactly when the Bitcoin ETF is going to go live, you can check out my prediction. I say go live, when it's going to get approved. Check out my prediction. I'll put a video on the end screen. You can go ahead and take a look at that. Don't forget, true decentralized cryptocurrency equals freedom. This Bitcoin ETF is not true decentralized cryptocurrency. So please beware, everyone. This is Crypto Wealth. I'm out.